Adishmamba mewaha emwakwaba ediba Green TV so emredu se omen ona fofo mu nsam yedeba ebesomo se ewia premto brekase na wakase mu nsem bia mbete ebi enese ene fi polepole nwotwe ayehwe mampani John Evans Atamils sa esoso na besan so atibiom so se isi sesi ane the new voters register no watwe asan so eda ko echi kaka den enti no tweko echi nyina mebomu ede ache wei ene nsem na ofopa besomo se ewia premto brekase ewo Green TV so obutantim na nabna adepa enmidi afejebre na makase no munchechire mu ankasa Mama sanso emwakwa babiem ene eyemfinsha pole enwotwe ayehwe mampani John Evans Atamils no nam so magana fo yesu ye papa na dey NDC amanyoko na busuafo ne namfofo nyina akwakohye mo ho acheso mo de nhwen yahodro akwakogu ho ede kai omampani John Evans Atamils se yakopon so mfa ne nkwa entumi ensie na dachi bi yakone kohye a yenyani etumi age.
I'm not too sure what exactly you want me to say because I've said all there is to be said. I worked for a good man. He had faith in me. I wasn't jobless, I wasn't homeless. I come from a good home, good background, good education. I had skill, I had talent. God gave me. President Mills noticed my skills, noticed my talent, and decided that he was going to use it to the best of his ability. I'm not saying he was a father, so he kept me, he taught me. We ran a campaign, we won an election. We had a vision, we had a direction, we had dreams for this nation. Somehow, God decided to call him to rest. But in the Bible, when Moses had to go get up and take the mantle, maybe I've been behaving like a Jonah for so long, running away from what destiny has for me. I've ended up in the bellies of whales and I've ended up in the bottom of ships. I've been vomited on seashores and now I accept my destiny. I have a duty and a role to perform in this country via the Atta Institute, and I'll do it for God's kingdom to be established.
Now in your speech, you said you've been demonized many times. Demonized by
I'm not going to cascade into that. I said it, and then I think I want to stay on positive ground.
But finally, before you go, you've observed the political climate now, the voter registration exercise characterized by some violence in certain part of the country. We know Atamils stood for peace. He was a man of peace. What do you make of these happenings?
It's not right, it's not proper. In fact, that's the reason why the Atta Institute has come. It's for civic education and public policy advocacy. What we have done in the nation is that we have concentrated on our democracy.
Electoral Commission edaba betu dress new voters register yuguso a ye register e wo man Ghana mu asesi ade nhihya foforo croissant so edaba ka ho biem enyina ene se ye ma memo ye nananom yo madi mfinsha be se duonu ede ekọ no mo akwanya so wetumi akọ registration yi bi e wo eye omo offices ni bi sanso so ene obi wetumi di hundam bi kakra nso no omo so betumi akọ e na doctor fo bi mu so munya akwanya enkoye no omo nyina enkoye se ne be ya mfimpinu ni eduonu abato no e betumi akwakoto abapa ede amoman Ghana. Electoral Commission ede hihya hodro foforo asanso ababiem na ne otwemu nyina na sesesi ane de wama akwanya se nipa ankofo ateso di mfinsha be se eduonum ede ekono omo ho akwanya so metumi akwa registration bi ewo Electoral Commission ne offices ni bi sanso so na security personnel so omo achese sebe omo etumi edi omo honam dem kakran so ebenya akwanya no etumi akwa register ewo hon musa enmu na mpanifo eda babetu dwase omo hye ase ewo July bosome ne da yeto so eduonunum ewo mfimpinu no eduonumu na se bibia betumi akwakoye bi ewo hono enum no sanso de tudwa biem se sesi o ma hihye sa anyame se sankofo we benya akwanya etumi akọ eye EC head office etumi akwa register no mo kwa hihye ahodo ya mpanifo edegu akwan mu no omo hwe na se omo ntumi edididi nyina so esan se we ndidi so de a e ade ache so metumi de wafa eye mra kwan so sanso che ne kasa biem se wo kwa na che so ma na ya enti antentem no etumi akọ se ne be ya mfimpinu ni eduonu abato no won so benya akwanya etumi akwakoyi wo mampanyi ede ama aye oman Ghana na emum so uye obi a chese won koda nso so obenya ho akonya etumi akọ uye opemfo nso obenya ho akonya etumi akọ o ma oba no fompo anasa oba eda no fo ano no so no obenya kwan etumi akọ na emum se mo kọ a mo fa hyehyɛ ahodo ya mpanyifo aka asema social distancing yakọ uno sparks nso etale wo hwen wo kọ nso anso sisi ho a obetumi enya akonya no etumi ahorohoro nsa ho sene ebe ya coronavirus no entumi ente ne hyiemu mede ne kasa ekọ awie no osan so ade tu dwabiem se eda asesi ane de aposifo no mpanyifo bi enso bo ho na se wo ye security fo ni bi o asrani anase police na so nya ho akonya se so tum ko register e wo ho no ma wo so o kwa fa nyama e kire se wo ye asrani anase wo ye police ni e wo man Ghana man san wo nya konya no etumi a new voters register no mede ne kasa ekọ wie kwa biem no osan so ade tu dwabiem se wo kọ na se forms ni bi ebia wo hwe na ebe cha mawa obetumi akọ EC4 omo website no na chese wetumi akọ twi bi no atumi aprente o konsa benya A1 ni bi na wetumi aprente e ho no e calendar eno ebetumi abo guarantor forms no so no obetumi afa bi sene ebe ya ukodu a nema bekoso wano e de ama wo na basbasa bia pinche bia entumi enkoma ne homene so e wo ho no mo Oswafo ya ono na hwe sikasem so onumonyamfo Ken Ofori-Atta edaba betu dwase eda sesi aban ni nimpanyifo de hyehyɛ ahodo egu akwam esanse coronavirus yi eba ye nyuma ahodo bebre na no na etumi egugu anu ntino aban ni nimpanyifo akomuti abom ede hyehyɛ egu akwam sesi ade eye banks ahodo ye o man Ghana mu ase no dwuma ahodo no betumi akɔbɔbosia e ho no musa na akɔbɔbosia na so etumi bɔbɛ se 2 billion a obetumi etu ho ka na ho nsi ho no betumi nketenkete kakra eda mo se ne ebe ya wadwuma etumi etete epansam ye no emu ebetumi asanso
Mr. Speaker, in line with the use of proceeds approved by Parliament, an amount of 2 billion was earmarked to finance growth-oriented expenditures, 1 billion for restructuring the energy sector in the 2020 budget, and the remaining 1 billion for liability management options. Already, Mr. Speaker, a buyback of 523 million of the maturing 2023 Eurobond has been carried out. The financial sector cleanup and bailout. Mr. Speaker, as stated earlier, the outbreak of the pandemic is having a negative impact on the finance sector here in Ghana and across the world. All over the world, central banks are being relied upon by governments to find the liquidity to tackle the socio-economic difficulties unleashed by the pandemic. The Bank of Ghana has stepped up the challenge and announced various policy measures to help support the economy and financial institutions in order to cushion the adverse impact of COVID-19 on the economy. It is important to stress that this has been possible. It is important to stress, Mr. Speaker, that this has been possible because of the responsible and competent management of both the fiscal and monetary space since 2017. As a result of mismanagement, Mr. Speaker, depositors' funds had been locked up with no hope that these depositors could access their own funds. The authorities, with foresight and appreciation of the role of the banking financial sector to any economy, especially to oil the engine of the private sector, introduced painful but unavoidable reforms to clean up mess inherited from the previous government. The timely intervention of this administration resulted in the saving of these locked up funds in failed banks. This was a sovereign but necessary action that in total is costing the state, Mr. Speaker, in excess of 21 billion of taxpayers' money. These are funds that could have been otherwise deployed to support the development agenda of the government. Let it be said that a serious government as we are, desperate as we were to face a broken economy as it was, and fund our own programs as promised, and as patriotic as we are, had absolutely no thoughts, no time, no energy, or the luxury to conspire with the central bank to deliberately cause the downfall of Ghanaian banks that were already in zombie state, failing insolvent by the time we took office. What we did was to merge those that had failed, save those that could be saved, with the field of building a strong and viable financial sector with integrity. What the President, Mr. Speaker, which is unusual in banking practice globally, was go the extra mile to save the funds of all deposits of failed banks. Let no one stand on the steeple and proclaim untruths, and let mature Ghanaians be quick to listen, slow to speak, slow to be angry. James 2.
Yegusua ejina eye onmonyamfo Ken Ofori Atta ne nsensem wo sanso de betu dwabie mu se free SHS asukun kodai ehya ase so mo kono sika aban etumi edi hyemu be se 3.2 billion aban enotumi edi hyemu ansa na asukun kodan enya akwenya etumi edi akọ free SHS ebi.
There was a general lack of opportunities for social advancement for our fellow Ghanaians. Our governance institutions had also been deprived of the needed resources to play their critical role. Mr. Speaker, through well-thought economic and social policies underpinned by our belief in the ingenuity of our people and improving the wealth and livelihood of Ghanaians, we set out to restore macroeconomic stability for growth and sustainable jobs, to promote economic freedom by ensuring shared mobility and social justice, invest in human capital to improve the lives of Ghanaians, strengthen the PFM system to protect the public purse, and enhance governance institutions by providing more and adequate resources. Mr. Speaker, from 2007 to date, through the diligent implementation of this plan, we managed to completely change the story. Mr. Speaker, not only should we acknowledge what God has done by turning this country around, but should celebrate his continuous favor on this land. Mr. Speaker, the running theme undergirding all our policies and expenditure plans has been a commitment to invest and improve the lives of Ghanaians to access better opportunities. This principle has underpinned all our programs. Therefore, in implementing the over 15 flagship programs that the President promised, we set out to bring hope, restore confidence in the state, and demonstrate care for the people of Ghana. We sought to restore the self-esteem and dignity of Ghanaians and reduce the grinding poverty that was becoming commonplace. We therefore set out to invest significant resources in the lives of the Ghanaian people by increasing expenditures in education, agriculture, industry, and all of our human capital. Mr. Speaker, in acknowledging that education is the primary driver for upward social and economic mobility, we rolled out a raft of policy measures to improve the opportunities of our people. We invested $3.2 billion to implement free SHS, resulting in over 1.2 million teenagers being in secondary school now, looking forward to better opportunities in life. The Akufo-Addo graduates. For their parents and families, this has translated into 2.2 billion in savings. That is money that the state has put back into the pockets of Ghanaians all across the country, and investments for the state for their future.
Media budgets no emu nsama hodo etumi pie mu biem esanso eba biem se coronavirus nse ne sifa eko na etrani hyemu ewo man Ghana mu hase na yade asese ano eba be ha ye komini ye papa economy no etumi eba be se ho no se no ntum da ba betu dwa se sia ne de o se etumi hye de ye papa esansa brabon de mu oden ankasanso eba.
And will not daunted by this extraordinary crisis, government will continue to do what it has to do to protect lives and supply livelihoods through compassionate, competent, and courageous leadership. We have accepted that this pandemic and its effects are unparalleled in the annals of our country and indeed globally. We have accepted that until a vaccine is found, we have no choice but to rearrange our lifestyle in order to protect lives and promote livelihoods. It requires a marshalling of unprecedented resources to contend with the pandemic and its effects Ghanaians. And Mr. Speaker, this government is up to the task. Mr. Speaker, the predicted long-lasting effect of this pandemic amidst systemic shifts and uncertainties suggests 2020 and beyond will be very challenging. Ghana will therefore need a continuity of courageous, compassionate, and competent government with a well-crafted government. Ghana will therefore need the continuity of courageous, compassionate, and competent government with a well-crafted program to protect the lives of Ghanaians, safeguard jobs, and support businesses to sustain operations during this period, and especially in the 4 years ahead. This can only be possible with competent economic management of the economy, and we being at the helm. Mr. Speaker, we have proven over and over again that we are better managers of the economy. Together, we took Ghana out of havoc and placed it amongst lower middle income countries within a decade. Together, we recovered and revitalized a critically weakened economy, and today, we can now attract renowned global automobile companies in just 3 years of returning into office. Together, once again, we will optimize the opportunities presented by this pandemic and build a sustainable future for Ghanaians. In the now famous words of President Akufo-Addo, we know how to bring the economy back to life. Therefore, this 2020 mid-fiscal policy review and supplementary estimate is the first of our economic plans to reposition Ghana and Ghanaians to deal with the challenges posed by the pandemic and seize the opportunities it brings. Our response to this pandemic prioritizes the protection of our lives and livelihoods, sustains our business operations, and sharpens our focus on Ghana's future beyond aid.
Parliament for ni bi etumi ababekasa e de media budget no ehun ne oboniman for Ken Ofori Atta e de ebabetu edwa no.
Oh, medede afi tax biara mbebio o stand ye pede ye interest rate okofum and the young people ya wa ha yenso ye tum ya nanto confidently to the banks na ya kaje bosa ne that say business roads since I kept crossing that many over 30 kilometers why ye mpo ewi and budget ne dia ke da form kura enti ne friend nko so no and budget mo ye ka che Ghana for say since amoto aba ema ye 7 December 2016 no yetime ama enkwada baako 1.2 million and now mu osuku a omu entuahwe eno na aban eka che Ghana for enya bibia ewu bia ye de ya ye ene ye de na Ghana for
pendese ne se hwema nyama mehu me nua me wra ho abane ka kire hende orukọ akobo bosa e wo euro bond market Ghana sikim 17.1 billion Ghana cedis. The basic data onuma 170 trillion. Okwaji sikana do obeyen de obo use sika only about 700 million Ghana cedis. Odaye oye roads ni infrastructure na ade. En kaina kana oye about 160 trillion or 16 trillion do obeyen de what the run ministries, department and agencies. No chede sikan kai no wobeje na again odaye offend the chop here make capacity.
Papa ni be bana akese afedi yehu Ghana for mobre. Me who say tax amama so no amenemu. In the budget way, you be to an more yi tax ni be afiho. Na small business o mu collapsing na amotumi asori. Ba kuma mpiemu. Kofo amu ajira o musika wo banking sector reform. Na nka me hwe wo budget mu say abanwe betumi aka say ekwan ye fa so mbanya sika yanti budget way hope bi anim. No kranie ne ma hu ne say na do ne na ban omo ayira o hwe budget already here media the who and it has so pay we pa because some corner no maka it you say mo twa contractors ka mo contractors no go back no mo ko yaduma the hear me pa ni rules no ko yakwa na nye ya 1D 1F for enya aduma
Adishma ma yenyina media budget ho ni ntwa ho bra ye ba ye besan so atoaso